Checking in from an eventful day. It's the Legit Bag Podcast. I got somebody just super, super special in the studio with me today. Let me give you a little bit of background how important this guy really is to me. I wouldn't be, in any position that, I'm in without the help of this guy right here. It's not 50 Cent.
No, it ain't.
But it is Curt Jacksons, by the way.
That's right.
My man, Curt.
Yes,
Curt,
sir.
thanks for coming out here.
Yes, sir.
Being a part of this, crazy eventful day that we had today.
Didn't we? Crazy day.
Crazy day.
From sun up to now.
Yeah. Let me give you a little bit of background on Curt before we get into things. When I had got my MBA, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was up in Michigan at the time. And Curt, I played at Midland College with, way back in the day.
Yeah. We 10 years in there.
10 years. Oh man, it's
old.
like I'm becoming an OG, man.
Yes,
you know what
sir.
I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Like
that's
when
you
get that 10-year level. But
yeah.
But no, I played with Curt back in the day at Midland College. It was a JUCO out in Midland, Texas, and spent a lot of time with Curt. On the number one JUCO team in the nation. We played ball. And had a really, really good time down there, learned a ton. But I called Curt after I got my MBA and said I didn't really know what I was going to do at the time, career-wise. And Curt picked up the phone and was like, man, come, down here to Austin. Yeah. Stay on my couch. You'll find a job.
That's true.
There's more work than there is people at this point. I don't know if it's like that now, but
probably not.
Yeah, everybody moving out there, but stayed on Curt's couch and started corporately, and eventually ended up out in Los Angeles doing my thing. So, Curt, I always thank you for that. That's your intro. I know it's a long one.
Yeah, that was long, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I would do it again if I had to.
Of course. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, man, getting back into a little bit of our playing days down there in Midland, Texas. We were playing for Coach Ross HODGE, man. Yeah.
They got a big win yesterday.
Big win.
Yeah, big win over Purdue.
So Coach HODGE, who we actually played for, is at University of North Texas now, and they actually made the NCAA tournament. Yep. And had a big upset. Curt, I'm retired from basketball. Like I really am, like all the way. So break down like what UNT did and all that, why it's special.
They did something special. I mean, you don't see many mid-major teams go into the tournament
right
as an underdog and go in there and beat a Power 5 conference team, which Purdue was. Right. I think they were like 13 or 14 point underdog, maybe a little bit more. Which again is a heavy feat. Took the game into overtime and took it and won it. So
against
Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue.
Yeah, that's
it's Big Ten.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And it's crazy because now, next game I think they played Nova.
That's close to home for you, by the way.
Yeah. That's very close to Philly. That's very close to Philly. But Nova's missing their point guard.
Okay.
Which was their leading scorer, their point guard throughout the course of the year. So it can be a very interesting game if you ask me.
If they beat Nova, it's Sweet 16 time, right?
That's what it would be. Yeah.
That's a ring.
A ring
you get a Sweet 16
in the small
ring.
thing, the small grand scheme of things, but it's gonna be interesting though. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I put a bet in.
Yeah, so. Who are you going with?
To win it all.
To win it all,
I took Illinois to win it all.
Yeah, they're that good.
They're the real deal.
Yeah,
they got one player. He'll be a top 10 draft pick, and then they got a pretty good center. So
yeah,
I picked him to beat Gonzaga. And it's still possible, right? I mean, as we see, Ohio State has been upset. UT, University of Texas, has been upset.
Yeah. Gonzaga, shout out to Guy Landry out there in France.
Yeah. Our
played
man
there.
Guy, he did.
Yeah.
Went to Gonzaga and played there.
Guy always comes out here sometimes. I call him Guy as Guy, but
I call him Guy.
We don't even know how to say his name.
Exactly.
It's been 10 years.
We just know he went to Gonzaga.
Yeah, he went to Gonzaga, did his thing, but
exactly.
he comes out here to LA sometimes and hangs out. Cool. So it's a good.
But
friend of mine.
the tournament's been cool, man. I mean, of course, as always, you get your normal set of upsets. We just seen, you know, Abilene Christian.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Exactly. We're one of my old coaches actually is the head coach there. So
yeah.
So they went in there and knocked off UT, which is crazy.
Right.
Then another person I played with, he's at Oral Roberts, and they beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually got 3 kind of close connections to 3 teams, and they all made upsets in the tournament this year, which is very, very rare. Very rare. You're talking 15 seed or 14 seed.
We say that every year in the tournament. Oh,
yeah, I know.
This never happened.
I know. But yeah, it's gonna be good. So they're all gonna be playing, you know, starting tomorrow.
I mean, Abilene Christian to beat Texas is pretty insane.
No, well, you know, and even crazier, you know, in 2012, Abilene Christian was D2.
What?
Yeah, so they haven't been a D1 program 10 years yet.
Man.
Which is crazy in itself, right? So think about it. You know,
D2 just beat a high major.
Transferring over to D1, the grind of getting from, you know, D2 players to D1 players and getting them trained up. The
recruiting process.
Exactly. That takes time in itself. So, of course, that's their first win in a tournament ever.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time. I won't say the second time they've been to the tournament, but yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you can't, you know. But you know, it's the small schools that go against those bigger ones that have, you know, more of a chip on your shoulder. I know you probably know a little bit about that, right?
A little bit about it. Not so much when I got to D1. But you know, hey.
Yeah, but think about it when you went against Duke. What did that feel like?
It felt good because I was on TV, and you know I love being on TV.
And you gotta have a little chip to get there and be able to compete. But that's what the tournament is all about, right? So
yeah, you know, we had a real special time like when we played, you know, ball and all that, you know, together in college and everything, you know, under Coach HODGE, who's part of that, you know, UNT staff that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
We were #1 in the nation. We maybe had 4 JUCO All-Americans, and then me, who was most likely starting at the time. So I couldn't help but not to get noticed. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But we had we just had some talent.
Yeah, we had a tough team. We would have beat D1s.
Oh, for sure.
I always tell people that we would have beat D1s.
I mean, like to put in perspective what Midland College is and Odessa and all that in that area is to JUCO ball. I mean, you can Google the arena there and it's huge.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so there's some smaller Division I schools who wish that they would have that JUCO arena.
Yeah, that's true.
And the type of JUCO tournaments we were playing at the time, we were flying places.
Yeah, that too.
We flew to Vegas for a huge tournament, which,
true.
I mean, Baylor was at the time. You know, a lot of,
I remember seeing Brittany Griner there. That was
I was in the elevator with her.
Baylor girls, she's really that tall. Yeah,
she was a dunking, a girl who could dunk.
Yeah,
and at the time it was unheard of.
That was real.
And we just happened to be standing in the elevator with her.
Yep. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So
but yeah, we did some. I mean, we did some big things, as you know, right? We played against some good players. We had a good time.
Definitely.
Even being in the middle of nowhere.
This is like the league down there in Texas is like super special. And I've been disconnected from the game for quite some time. I'm sure it hasn't changed. But you have like NBA guys who are bred down there. We're talking the Jimmy Butlers of the world.
Yeah.
We're talking Jay Crowder, who we both know, who's out there, who's still in the league. I think he's with Phoenix now.
Yeah, Jay Crowder.
He's with Phoenix.
Yeah.
But those are the type of guys that come out of this JUCO league down there, and it's literally no joke.
It's serious.
It's serious stuff.
Yeah, it's serious.
So, you know, that's just one of those experiences that is super unique. Yeah. You know,
we'll never forget it.
Yeah. And you know, you had a D1 stint too at Little Rock, Arkansas,
and all that.
Yeah, I went to
Little Rock, played there. So that was fun. You know, had a good time.
Yeah.
You know, D1 basketball is just so different, right? You know, it's the intensity, the practices. I'll tell you a quick story. So I remember my first practice freshman year, and we were doing the 1-on-1 drill. The ball, you know, dropped on the ground.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. And my teammate, he dove on it and grabbed it. Yeah. And everybody was screaming and clapping and yelling.
Right.
And I was like, what the hell is going on? You know?
Yeah.
And the coach was like, Curtis, this is not fucking high school basketball. Right? And then he takes the ball and he kicks it to like the 15th row in the gym. I dove for every ball for the rest of the year. It was a very quick lesson, you know, to learn. But it was just like I said, it was a difference from an intensity standpoint, right? You know, everybody is coming with different goals because you know everybody on the team has different roles, etc. But it's very intense, right? You are truly earning your scholarship,
right?
You know,
right.
I will say that, right? There's no walk in the park, right? There's no free rides. You know, you are earning that,
of course,
those books, right? Because you know that's just the lay of the land. So it's, you know.
You told me something that was really interesting. I had no clue about because I really haven't been following this season in particular of NCAA basketball, which is I don't know the logistics of it, but I guess players are granted another free year after this year.
Exactly. Yeah. So with the, of course, the impacts of COVID, and some teams not able to play a full season. Some divisions they didn't play seasons at all. So I know, like Division II. Some of them shut down completely.
Wow.
Right. So they definitely gave everybody a year. Right.
Yeah.
So imagine if we both would have got a 5th year.
Wow.
Right. Just for free. Right. That can sometimes be a game changer. You know, especially if you didn't have the season that you expected to have.
I'm just running through what if I got a 5th year. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe it might not have been such a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it would have been different for me. I would have took it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. You know what would suck though this year is what I was thinking is like this is the worst year to like win a championship.
Not really. Why you say that?
Because it technically doesn't count, right?
No, everything counts. It always counts. If you're on the court, it counts.
Okay, all right.
If you fought through what they had to fight through, the COVID test and the protocols and the stops and going
and not playing in front of any fans.
Exactly. It's kind of like the same thing with the NBA, right?
Right.
You know, you're not going to discredit LeBron James' recent championship, right? A championship.
No, I'm not, but I know some people may.
Yeah, but like you said, put some respect on my name. They all count.
Yeah.
They all count.
I mean, yeah, it's just like I feel like there would be like it would be just my luck to win a national championship this year, and my homies would be like, well, you know, this year, you know, didn't count. You didn't have to play X, Y, and Z.
I wouldn't. I ain't trying to hear that. Yeah,
I'm not trying to hear it either. That's what I'm saying. It's the worst year to win a championship.
They all count. But yeah, like I said, I mean, getting an extra year, that's going to be very interesting for kids, especially the ones that are kind of on the cuffs, right? If you're already on the draft board, do you come back and play another year?
Yeah.
Right? You know, of course, if you're lottery, you're going. But if you're low, you know, first round, early second round,
do you
come
think,
back?
Well, do you think that we're going to see like a little bit of like crowding in the rosters? Like it might be a little bit crowded.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting how they do that, right? So I don't know if they're going to afford more scholarships to bring in still, you know, incoming freshmen, or kind of how that's going to work. And even from a classroom perspective, think about it. If you were a senior and you're graduating, now you're getting your master's, right? Because undergrad is over.
Well, I'm going to figure out like a way, if I was playing and get a 5th year, well, technically I should be working, so you guys should be cutting me even more of a check. That's just how I think.
Well, yeah, that would be good, right?
I mean, it would be good in a great scenario.
Yeah, they should be cutting the check, period.
Well,
right?
Of course.
Yeah, so that's a big thing still.
You know, I saw something that I really, really liked. And you brought it to my attention when we were like, the kid from Michigan who had the shirt on.
Yeah.
That said, not property of the NCAA.
Deep. That was deep.
On national TV.
That was deep. He shook up the whole NCAA right now. So this was today. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that.
I like it.
He's hurt, so you can't suspend him, right?
Right.
You can't take a scholarship,
right?
You know, he kind of spoke his piece. So we'll see. That's going to be very interesting.
I like that guy. Right? I'm a fan of him.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to figure out like his handle and say, hey, I support that.
I would definitely reach out if possible.
Because my feeling, and the game has changed a little bit, you know, since we've been gone. And we're talking 10 years out, you know, however you want to put it, give or take a couple years. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel really strongly about, you know, players being compensated. And I think they've taken the necessary steps towards that. I think in the state of California, they're granting the players to actually capitalize off their names, at least. And that's my biggest thing too, is like if you create a brand around your name, no matter if you're in corporate America, no matter if you're in, you know, the NCAA, you know, that's your name at the end of the day.
That's true.
And your name you have the right to. So, you know, therefore, if my name's on the back of a jersey and it's getting televised, I don't know. I represent a lot, as do you.
Yeah, you
you
should be paid. I mean, there's no way around athletes not being able to be paid for their services. Of course, the caveat to that is the levels, right? There's a difference in money at Kentucky than it is at
Western,
exactly, Western Michigan, Little Rock, whatever, right? So they have to figure that out. I think that's kind of the biggest piece, right? Is how can we figure out making sure it's kind of balanced.
Yeah.
Because if not, well, and then at the same time, from a talent perspective, everybody's already going to go where they're talented enough to go, right?
Right.
You're not going to get kids that can play at Western at Kentucky because they're paying more because they're not talented enough to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they need to figure out the load balance. But I mean, even me, like, so I played, and someone had a lawsuit against the NCAA when I played, right? So me and everybody on my team got a check, right? Because we had to submit the paperwork,
right?
Because it was all off of the NCAA college basketball game,
right?
That was on Xbox and
I got paid off of that too recently. It was about, I want to say about 7-8 months ago. I got a check from the NCAA.
Exactly. So stuff like that, right? People are definitely taking the initiative to push it forward,
right?
I think the NCAA has to just make some changes to make it right.
Yeah,
they owe a lot of people a check.
yeah, they owe people centuries worth of checks.
I mean, like even certain sports, even from a football perspective, Alabama's program, they fund every sport at the school, right? Just all football money alone. Yeah. But the players get.
Did you see that whole thing too? Yeah, I think one thing too. We could talk all day. I think about the level of revenue football generates, the high major Division I schools, the revenue that they generate.
Crazy.
But I thought I saw something also during the little bit of the tournament that I've watched on, this year was the girl who posted the weight room situation, how it was just one little stack of weights for the women's team. Mm-hmm. And then she said, well, this is the men's team over here, and it's like a huge
NBA facility.
Yeah, it looks like an NBA facility in there. I'm like, well, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
like I said, and that comes. I mean, that's probably from a school to school perspective, but the NCAA has their influence with a lot of that stuff. And I think they have a lot of opportunity, and they've made some changes, right? Like you said, even with opening up the G League. How they let so some of the top kids that's coming out this year are in the G League versus when going to college, which is good. And they got 6-figure checks as well. So stuff like that, they're going to have to make adjustments, or they're going to lose more and more kids every year.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting. So.
I just have always played for I've always played for the name on the back of the jersey. But I've also made sure that I never forgot the importance of the name on the front of the jersey. So I think it had a good balance.
Yeah, and I mean, so now I look at it a little different, right? So it's a business.
Of course.
Right? So I wasn't necessarily looking at that as a player. So I probably had a little more want to for the school, for the front.
Right.
But now looking back at it, it's all about the back, right? Those choices that you make, whatever school you go to 100%. For whatever reasons, is all on you, right? So I tell kids as I talk to them in high school and college now, right? Make the decision that's best for you. Right. Right. Whether it's changing schools, whether it's staying at schools, because at the end of the day, those schools truly, they don't care.
No, they don't.
And if that coach gets fired, your scholarship may be in jeopardy as well. So
of course,
nothing is guaranteed. And a lot of times they mislead you with the initial, we offered you a scholarship, here you are. Right. Because that only lasts. People don't know scholarships are only yearly.
They're year to year.
Exactly. So
that's what nobody understands.
Yeah, I don't think they tell people that.
I don't think there's any way that they can put it what legal binding agreement or any. They'll find a way to get you out in a year.
I mean, I've had many coaches come to my my home in high school throughout during the recruiting process and prep, and nobody ever said they said, hey, we're going to offer you a scholarship for 4 years, and then when you get there, you realize that you have your end of the year meeting with the coach.
The end of the year meeting, boy.
You go over your video, your stats, what you did, what you didn't do, what
Right.
you could have did better, what you didn't, and, you know, and decisions are made from there, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we realize, of course, as players, how impactful that is, right? To go from school to school, but others don't, right? And that's
Right.
you know, that's why we're here to tell the story, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
kind of makes sense.
We made it here to tell the story. That's
Exactly.
That's for sure. I think that's kind of half the battle at the end of the day, is being there to
tell a story.
To tell the story.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people share that story, right?
Of course.
But you know, we made it through those times. So
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, Curt, like, you've been coming out. We've had some good times out here in LA.
Yeah,
we really have.
Yeah, it's a cool city. It's a cool city.
You know, when you first, actually when I had first moved out, you came out and visited me, and we went to Drake concerts.
We did Drake. We did Drake and Migos.
It was Migos at the time.
Drake and Migos. They were co-hosting. I think even Cardi B came out that time.
I think she did.
Concert.
Yeah, I think that was like back when Lil Baby had just started popping off.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think he was out as well.
Life is amazing. It is what it should be.
Up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was good. We had that. We went and did the Eagles. You know, when they played the Rams.
Curt, you're going on
that was a big trip for LA for me that time, because of course we beat the Rams. We won the Super Bowl.
Here you
that
go
year.
Talking about that.
You gotta talk about the Eagles and the Super Bowl run. I mean, you can't talk sports and not talk about the Eagles. It's just not possible.
I knew somehow, some way today. Somehow, some way, the Eagles were going to come up in this conversation, because we haven't had no conversation about any NFL the whole time that you've been here.
Well, you got to slide that in. We're talking about LA. We're talking about trips.
What do the Eagles?
You got to talk about the Eagles. I mean, it's part of the journey. It's part of me coming out here year after year for visits. They're always for a reason. I came out here for Allstar.
That's
as well.
true.
So that was nice.
That was cool. You know, that
All-Star Weekend was nice.
All-Star Weekend was really funny because that's when we bumped into Yo Gotti.
Yeah, we sure did.
And Chris Brown and all them were out there.
Yeah, exactly. Trey Songz was there.
Yeah. I'll tell the story. We bumped into Yo Gotti. I had a section in the I can't remember what club it was. I think it's probably shut down or something like that now that this whole COVID.
It was in Hollywood, though.
But
I remember.
It was a super cool time out here. It was All-Star Weekend. I think it was like 2018 or something like that in LA. And that's when the Chris Brown and Yo Gotti had just had a song called Pills and Automobiles.
Yeah, that was your shit too.
And all of a sudden Curt was like, "Nah, we need our section right over there." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go with what Curt says." And it was crazy because Chris was on one side of us, and then Gotti was on the other side of us. And that song had just came out.
Yeah, we went crazy.
So we felt, I mean, me personally, I just felt like I was in the music video as it was, because I'm looking to my left, I got Yo Gotti, and I got Chris on my right, and everybody's got their camera phone out, videotaping them, and we just happened to be in the middle of it.
Exactly.
So
that was a good one. You went up to Yo Gotti.
Yeah, actually, I went up to Yo Gotti afterwards.
Yep.
And stepped to him and said, "Hey, what's up, man? I really didn't have anything to say. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a producer, nothing like that."
Yep.
I was just like, "Yo, I just listened to your music.
You inspired me." That's what you told him. Yep.
I mean, I've been listening to Gotti forever. I mean, to finally be able to like meet him and all that, and
that was real.
It was a real respectable moment at the end of the day. Gotti was cool. Yeah, Gotti was real cool.
When I was in Arkansas, I was introduced to Yo Gotti.
Yeah.
Of course, Memphis and Arkansas, pretty close. I didn't know nothing about Yo Gotti coming out of Philly. At that time, that was 2007, 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like Jay-Z out there, you know, to people in Arkansas, just because of the close proximity of Memphis and Arkansas. So,
right.
I kind of took a liking to him then and kind of ride it out ever since. So even still, Yo Gotti is on fire.
I always say too, I just like, I told the story about meeting Nipsey. You know that story because I called you right away after it happened.
Exactly.
But like I'm just like the people that I've kind of met out here, I just am not the type of dude that wants like a picture like all the time or busts out my phone and takes a selfie or something like that. It's just not me. I feel like it's just more acceptable to just kind of keep it pushing with people. You know what I mean?
You gotta give people their space,
Yeah, like they're regular dudes at the end of the day, and I guess I just kind of have a respect for that. So Memphis is cool though. You been to Memphis?
I've been to Memphis.
I'll tell you what.
I've been to Memphis.
There's this one shorty on my Instagram. She from Memphis. She got a man though, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I was like, look, you know, if I ever see you out in public, I hope your man cuff you extra tight.
Is that right?
Of course.
Yeah, Memphis is a cool city.
Yeah.
Cool
ladies,
city.
they're real. Shout out to Memphis ladies, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Memphis, man. Shout out to Arkansas.
Y'all cool.
Of course.
Yeah, man. Curt, you've been really going on a real media run today.
Yeah, today has been very, very, very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, very interesting. We did some studio time today. That was actually my first time in a studio.
What'd you think?
You know, with an artist. It was what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But a little different.
Yeah.
You know, we were in there for most of the day today, right?
Yeah, we were in there a long time today.
Kind of living that true musician lifestyle. You know what I mean? So they had the cameras.
I'm just a podcaster, man.
Yeah. It was a production, right? So they had the cameras, they had a video guy, right? They had the engineers.
You know how I do it.
Yeah, it was big. It was pretty big. Like I said, it was kind of what I've expected, but a little different. You know,
it was like everything all in one today. It was like there was some film involved.
Yeah.
There was like this track that got laid down for the
Exactly.
intro.
Exactly.
Like my boy Trent did his thing.
Legit bag.
Yeah,
but that's the thing, you know, and it was more so not necessarily scripted. I mean, I guess I always thought, you know, you're gonna go in the studio, you write down your rap, or your song, you know, whatever the case may be. You go lay it down, you leave. It wasn't like that, right? You know, where it was way more interactive, which was cool. Yeah. And that's how I see how songs are written by multiple people, right? You know, so you get in a room with 12, 13 different people, right? I go in the booth, I start saying this, you say, no, Curtis, don't say that, say this, say this. You know, next thing you know, you got a Grammy.
Yeah.
You know, just like that. Like, you know, so I could see how that happens. And sometimes even those situations get sticky, right? Because people like, oh, I influenced.
That was me.
I influenced. I told you
I was there.
You know, like that. But shit, we seen it today. It's possible, right?
Yeah.
You definitely could be there and just say two things to make the song go from not to great.
Did he say that? Yes. Did he say that? Yes.
Exactly.
All right, you get a check cut too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's deep. But yeah, man, I had a good time. Man.
I thought it was really interesting because we were in there with some pretty experienced A&Rs and engineers.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, you know, Trent, who's a pretty good artist himself.
Yep, definitely.
And
shout out to Trent.
I had a good talk with one of the engineers, and he was kind of breaking down the process like you were talking about.
Yeah.
The plaques that were on the wall where we were just at. We were at a pretty big time studio, you know, and that was you know, a real legit studio at the end of the day.
Yep.
And Bruno Mars records there.
Yeah, they have Fantasia.
Snoop
Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop was in that. So they had all those plaques on the wall.
Multiple plaques.
And I thought it was cool how he was breaking it down to me, like, yeah, like the writers get a check cut. You know, this person who tweaked the production, of course, was part of this Grammy.
Yep.
You know, they get a check cut. You know, they all get a percentage of this Grammy. It's like it's part of your resume.
Yep.
I thought that was really interesting. And also, I didn't realize how expensive those plaques actually are.
I thought you would have got those on the house. If you're a part of the record, why wouldn't I?
Oh, that gets cut out of somewhere. That gets deducted from either somewhere if it gets shipped to you or you bought it.
Yeah, they were talking $10,000 plus
10 plus for the plaque.
That's ridiculous.
But when you think about it, it's almost like those are kind of, in a way, priceless to some people.
Yeah,
they're meaningful.
I guess you could say, you know, if I had a studio and I booked time, you know, people book time. They came in and they see all these plaques. It may influence you to book more time, right? You may think something special can happen in this room.
Yeah.
When that track might not even made it in that room, right? You know, which again is something kind of knowing some of the insides of the business, which we, you know, I personally didn't know myself, you know, before going into today, but now I do.
Right.
And it also, I will say, makes everybody think they can be a rapper. Because
that is true.
You hear that music, you hear that sound quality, and before you know it, you say, "Damn,
it's pretty amazing."
I can rap too.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing the things they can do to people's voices.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you guys, Caleb got in there. I won't spoil it, but he got in there. That's all.
In there.
I'll keep it at that. He got in there, and we'll see what happens after that.
I got in there. There were no bars involved.
Yeah. He was lucky.
It was just a real puff moment.
And I can't write, so I couldn't ghostwrite for him. So
yeah. you know.
But stay tuned. You guys may catch it.
It's funny because me and you, Curt, we have stories for days.
Yeah,
I've known Curt a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like the OG guest that I've had on here, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, becoming OGs. Well, I mean, I've known this guy 10 years,
exactly.
minimum.
Yeah, that's a true story.
When I moved down to Austin, you and one of our friends, Jamal, had this interesting job.
Shout out to Jamal. Shout out to Jamal.
Shout out Jamal from The Bean, a.k.a. Boston.
Yeah, that's right.
But had this interesting job down there, downtown Austin at the W.
Yep.
And I personally like the W. It was one of my hangout spots in Austin.
It was a smooth spot.
Catch me down there, you know.
Every night.
Not every night, but you know, it's not 6th Street or anything like that.
Yeah,
for me, it's different. You know, cruise through maybe the Domain or something like that, and you know, I might end up at the W downtown. I know all the people who work there, so I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys put me onto that, but funny story is we were down there chilling one night. And Puff Daddy comes down, walks through the lobby.
Yeah.
And I said, "Damn, there go Puff right there."
And that was regular.
And we were just sitting there, and then Jamal says, "Hey, yo, Puff, drop a jewel on me."
Exactly.
I swear Puff turned around and was like,
Yeah. He definitely told him to drop a jewel.
Drop a jewel on me, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the funniest days ever, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
Maul. But that's Maul. He's that type of guy. He's gonna say something.
Right, of course.
It wouldn't be right now.
I didn't know what to say to Puff at the time. I was just like, I just kind of watch him walk by, like, yo, it's Puff right there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I had interactions there with Kanye and Ross and a bunch of people. You know,
you talked to Rick Ross. Rick Ross fell through there before you saw him.
Yeah, he was there. You know, because they have South by Southwest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Of course, yeah. Everybody stays there.
Exactly. So that's such a huge event. The W is such a popular hotel, right? You get all those folks to come down.
It's one of the nicer W's, I feel like. I've been to a lot of W's.
Yeah.
Or, you know, whatever, like the West high end, all that type of stuff, city by city. Either by basketball or just on my own or whatever. And it just seems like that one in Austin is like super nice.
Yeah, I mean, then of course they got the residency side, kind of on the side as well. So that gives it a different
feel.
Kind of a different dynamic, yeah. So that makes it a little even better, right? So but yeah.
Yeah, I'll be definitely. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to the W there. You know, that's
home.
It's post stomping grounds, kind of stomping grounds in a way.
Yeah. I'm still there, still there rolling. So definitely. Yeah,
man. But you know, talk a little bit about where you're from. Of course, we have
Philly. I'm from Philly, man. I'm from Philly. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see, but. It should have been bigger across my chest.
Oh, my bad.
But I gotta talk to the merch folks. But
of course,
I'm from Philly, man. Home of the Eagles, home of the Sixers, home of me.
Of course, shout out to the Eagles. Do you just want to get it off your chest now? What's going on with the Eagles? I'm a Lions guy. I stay true to home.
Yeah. I mean, me too. You got to. So I'm from Philly, man. But we also got some great musicians from Philly, right?
Of course.
Some of the best. You got the Roots.
The Roots are
mean, right? You got your Jill Scott.
Yeah.
Then you got your rappers. You got your Freeways, your Beanies. Your Meek Mills.
Of course.
Your Lil Uzi Verts. For the younger group.
Lil Uzi for the younger guys.
Did you run into Uzi one of these days?
I ran into Uzi. I was shopping at what was it? I was in Beverly Hills and I was at, I believe, Saks off of Wilshire, and I was shopping. I was picking up some shoes over there or whatever. I went to the register. I saw this little guy running around the whole time, and I thought it was Lil Uzi. I ain't really paying him no mind like that. But I got up to the register. It's funny you bring this up. I got up to the register. Lil Uzi walks up behind me and says, "You're tall."
That's funny as hell.
I'm like,
you should have said you're short.
Yeah, I should have said. I was just like, man, yeah.
I don't know if y'all know, but Caleb is what, 6'8"?
6'10".
6'10",
on a good day.
6'8", 6'10" is all the same. Once you get over 6'5", I mean, you're just extremely tall. So I mean, a little Uzi, I want to say probably
a little munchkin, man.
Yeah, he's not that tall.
No disrespect to Lil Uzi though. I like his music. I mean, he's cool for the young cats out there. Definitely on a different type of wave. With the whole. I don't know if you kind of saw, but he got a little diamond emerald in his forehead.
I seen that. Yeah, that's the
that's the younger generation there.
Yeah. I can't.
I don't mean to shake my head, but I am.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. I know there was another rapper, I think out of Houston, that got it, and then he got a bigger one. But that's a.
I look at it. I don't want to say, oh, young dog, that's whack or whatever, because they clap back and say, well, it probably costs more than your house what I have on my forehead.
Yeah, I heard it's a couple million.
I don't know. Well, it's hating to these young guys when you say, hey, bro, what do you got a diamond in the middle of your head for?
Hey, to me, man, if it works for them, man, then, hey, more power to you, man.
Okay.
I can't.
If it works for you.
Exactly. I can't knock it.
When I think of Philly, and when it comes to hip hop, I have a lot of just respect for Philly hip hop.
Disrespect?
No, respect.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say.
I would never disrespect.
I'm about to say. I didn't think. I thought we were too cool for you to say.
I would no.
I thought.
No, sir. Let me make sure I am loud and clear when I say this.
I heard you.
I have no disrespect for Philly hip hop.
Yeah,
we have some of the realest that actually are in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm talking about one guy I particularly respect out of Philly is Gillie.
Gillie is on fire right
okay,
now.
and here's why. Of course, and shout out to Gillie. He's a fellow podcaster
shout out to
with
Gillie.
Wallo. I wasn't familiar with Wallo until you told me, hey, the X, Y, and Z, this is Wallo. I'm just keeping it honest, but
OGs out there.
he for real an OG,
That's
And one thing about Gillie, what I respected, and I saw it unfold back in the Smack DVD days, right, was when Birdman and Wayne were hot. Nobody could touch Cash Money at the time.
Yeah.
Gillie came in with a fully loaded clip and went right at their heads.
Yeah. That's Philly, though.
I know. That's what I respect about him.
That's Philly, man.
And Philly in general. I was like, okay, my ear's to Philly now.
Yeah, exactly.
That was before you could tweet at him.
Yeah. It was none of that internet stuff back then, man. It was,
that was before all that.
You got second, third hand news.
Where
it had to travel through a lot of different places to get, get to you. But
that was this is like one thing I miss about quote unquote the old days, is an interaction like that. You had to size up with somebody when you see him out. You call him personally, maybe on a landline.
Yeah.
And it was addressed right then and there.
Yeah.
Now it's just.
Yeah, it's a lot of Twitter fingers these days, a lot of Instagram.
Speaking of Twitter fingers, Meek Mill.
What about him?
Everything about him. I like Meek Mill.
Yeah, Meek, hometown. I ride with Meek.
I like Meek Mill's music.
All day.
I'm a big fan of, way back, I would say maybe right when social media and music started colliding, he had like a real bomb mixtape, Flamers 1.
Yeah, and 2.
Flamers 2.
They all was crazy.
All of them were
banging them all.
They were all classics.
Super classics.
On the block with that Yao Ming, like the Rockets.
So crazy.
Remember those like old Meek Mill? That's how I got put on the Meek Mill. I had a point guard I played with my freshman year.
Doodles.
Yeah, Doodles.
Shout out to Doodles.
Shout out to Raymond Sims, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to my man Doodles, man. One of the best handles I ever seen.
Guy was tough.
By far.
I played with so many great players.
Yeah.
So many great point guards.
Yeah,
I can't say oh, he was just the best point guard.
The best handles by far.
He's got the best handle.
I don't know about the best point guard, but the best handles.
I will say
by far.
What came with his handles came with his passing.
Yeah, both. I mean, it was a 1-and-1.
Yeah,
it was a one. He was just as good as a passer as he could dribble, which was purely amazing.
Right. He was like the definition of a tough Philly point guard.
Yeah. That's
I like to say I would say point god, actually.
Yeah.
That's how they categorize that stuff out there. He was one of them
bulls for sure, guaranteed.
But back to the story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doodles actually put me on to Meek Mill.
Yeah.
And said, yo, we've got this guy, out in Philly, and he's just battle rapping everybody in the street.
That was the thing then.
And they just started like uploading that stuff to YouTube.
Yeah.
And there was Meek Mill in the street with the braids and all that, just going crazy. I was like, I don't think I've ever heard anything like this before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the thing then, though. I mean, battle rapping, everybody was battling, but Meek, of course, was one of the best. I mean, we had like Reed Dollars, of course, a Cassidy back then, which was still Cassidy was yeah, but Cassidy was he was signed then. He wasn't, you know, Meek was, you know, those guys was just coming up, you know, during that time. Cassidy was kind of already
you know, you know, Cassidy, I feel like, you know, Cassidy really was a real good artist at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I mean, he really was, and he has one of my favorite all-time verses, by the way.
I got a large house with a dog house in the backyard.
Of course, there's so many Cassidy verses that are just hard.
Tested, that's tough.
You know, he had one of those. He had that song too that was mainstream that I heard on the radio at the time, right? Because when I was coming up, we had to, you know, listen to the radio. Of course, he had that Hotel song.
Yeah, Hotel was crazy.
Girl, you wanna come to my that?
R. Kelly's,
of course.
Hotel was crazy.
You know, that was a crazy song, and then he had I think what they tried to do with the A&Rs at the time was they were trying to blend the East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
And he had a song with The Game out here.
Yeah.
And it was called Aim for the Head.
Okay.
Aim for the head when you see him, go get him. And Cassidy gets into that bar. That's my favorite. Hey, yo, real, I know how bagging the whole brick feel.
Yeah,
big deal. Hit the garage and switch wheels.
Yeah, tough. Yeah.
My chick's real with them, but never
tough.
mind. We'll get into all.
I mean, you know, some people got music that's so timeless that it's still crazy to this day. And that was probably what? 15 years ago?
Oh my, making me feel old.
Yeah, that was probably about 15 years ago. And still you that's when you know people got timeless music though. You know, when you can say a line and it still just put you, it make your mouth, it make your face move, it make your hand like that's real music.
It's kind of like one thing what I kind of blend with like hip hop and basketball, right? Artists who can make timeless music, that's a true talent.
Yeah.
You know, people who can not only make it to the NBA, but stay in the NBA.
Yeah.
Those are really talented players, and those are special players because it takes a different type of mindset to do that.
Exactly.
You know, that's not only like a daily grind. That's just like I have to plan out years and years and how I want to progress. Mm-hmm. I want to, you know, really take care of my injuries. I think of like the Spurs, like, you know, Ginobili and all them.
Yeah, Duncan.
The careers that they had
were favorite player, Timmy
super
Duncan.
Long.
Yeah.
And in the NBA, you have to play at a high level because there's somebody hungry that they can essentially hire and make a business move.
Yeah. But even still, to kind of expand on that is how you can transform your game as well.
Right?
You know, so you're not going to be as athletic in your first, you know, in your first 5 years, you're going to be pretty athletic. But when you get to year 15, 17,
right,
that's kind of a different story. You know, like Vince Carter, he did, man, so many years.
Yeah, Vince.
And he used to be half man, half amazing.
That's Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yeah,
Vince Carter's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no
question.
Easy Hall of Fame.
No question.
But yeah, you know, he transformed his game over time, man.
Right.
That's tough. I mean, LeBron's doing it right now, right? You know,
he has to. Yeah.
Melo came back, right? And
Melo stayed in the league at the end of the day.
Exactly. So he came back. And
he was out of the league for I think a little bit too long. I don't think he should have been. There could have been something that the camera wasn't showing or something. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe he's out of shape. We could say maybe this and speculate on stuff, but I just feel like
I'm happy he's back, man.
Of course.
Melo is one of the greats, man.
Happy he's back, but also contributing at a high level, you would say?
When he had that, and then when he had that run in college, man, come on, Melo. And then he played with Hakeem Warwick that year, which is from
Hakeem Warwick's Philly guy,
Philly,
right?
Of course. Come on, man. You know, it always goes back home one way or another,
right?
Man. You know, that's just how it goes.
It's like Hakeem Warwick's from Philly. It's like, oh yeah, that guy's from Philly, right? Yeah. You got to like look on the stat sheet to see where they're from. Be like, oh man, Philly actually has like some of the toughest players that have actually come out of there.
Yeah, Philly got some players still, even right now.
They have like underrated guys in hip hop too. Like for example, like people probably don't know, like out and about, they'd be like, well, where's DJ Drama from?
Yeah, from Philly.
From Philly.
Yeah, definitely. That's deep. Yeah,
it's deep.
A lot of people don't know that.
I mean, DJ Drama's a super respectable guy in hip hop, and here's why. He's contributed a ton, and he's been like the ultimate A&R in hip hop too. It's just like the Gangsta Grills tapes. It like your mixtape wasn't official until you had Drama screaming on that thing.
And you know what it is when he coming on too. So it ain't.
It's like that Gangsta Grills drop.
There's no mistake.
That cannon drops.
Yeah, it's no mistake.
That loud horn drops.
I mean, you know what it is when.
And he was literally had like all the hot artists on there too, like Wayne when he was super hot. Yeah. You know, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, you know, I'm keeping it true to the roots, and he's got Philly on, Gillie on the mixtape.
Yeah, real talk.
You know, so
that's real.
That's what I really like about Philly. It's almost like one of those cities where you got a mix of everything. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta. I mean, you got real creative people.
Yeah, you got a mix of
talent.
Everything. Yeah.
With basketball.
Yeah, you got a lot of people with a chip on their shoulder too, right?
And of course, I'm shying away from Eagles football because you're just the ultimate Eagles fan.
Yeah, hey, that's
I just my knowledge. I just
be like, that's just how that's never gonna change. Since you know me, that's just how it's been. Yeah. But you know, right? That's home, man. Philly, man. Shout out to Philly, man. You know, I go back and visit. I was just there. I was there in mid-January. So I mean, that was good, man.
Right.
But, yeah, I love my city, man. I can't live there, but of course I love it, right?
Yeah. You know, Philly also. I have a really good cheesesteak spot.
Which one is that?
It's called Boo's Philly out here in LA.
Oh no! So I'm gonna tell you.
I thought I showed you that. You were like, it's close.
Yeah, but that's the problem. See, I tell people all the time, if you're not in Philly, you can't get a Philly cheesesteak. We gotta call it something different.
Okay.
Right, you only get a Philly cheesesteak in Philly, right? Because that's where it started.
Yeah,
that's where it's at. You in Philly,
right? It's like I'm not going.
All these other places is, you know, they may be comparable, but it ain't the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Where do I go in Philly if I'm trying to get the best cheesesteak? Just so everybody knows.
I go to two places. I either go to Max's.
Okay, Max's.
Broad and Erie. And if I don't know if you recall, the game went to Max's a couple years ago. He took some pictures or whatever.
Right.
That was a big thing. I go to Max's or Pagano's. Now, if you ask touristy people, right, they'll tell you about Geno's and Pat's.
Okay.
And those places are in South Philly. They are super touristy. I've never been to those places before.
Okay.
Because if you're in Philly, you normally go to your corner store, which is wherever your neighborhood is at. You might take your Poppy store, get your cheesesteak, and that's your thing. Or for
that's
me,
what I'm looking for.
I would go to either Pagano's is leaning towards my favorite. Or I like to go to Max's too at Broad and Erie. Shout out to both of those because those places is mean. Every time I go there, I gotta go to one or both.
Yeah, I'm looking for the corner store. Like who got the best corner store?
Well, it's corner stores everywhere, right? So that's the thing.
The best one though.
So coming up, you only gonna go to the corner store in your neighborhood,
right?
Like I'm not gonna go across town to somebody else's neighborhood. I mean, I'm not from that neighborhood, right?
Right.
Of course, it's still Philly.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to be careful, right?
Yeah.
But my corner store is where I go get my cheesesteaks from, right?
Yeah.
If I don't go to, Erie Ave to Max's or Pagano's, but Pagano's is, man.
So basically,
good, man.
What you're saying is you go to Philly for a Philly cheesesteak.
Only.
Okay, like it's not like you go to like the steakhouse and you get seafood. They're known for the steak.
Exactly. That's like go to Chicago for a deep dish.
Yeah.
You don't get a deep dish
I'm not trying to get like,
in Detroit, right? You go to Chicago for that.
I want that Chicago deep dish.
I mean, so however, some things got to stay,
I will say one of my plugs out here, right, is Fresh Brothers Pizza. By the way, they probably are going to be sponsoring Legit Bag Podcast pretty soon.
Yeah,
but
well, shout out to I ain't been there.
I will say they have something at Fresh Brothers that is one of my favorite things.
What's that?
It's called a SoCal deep dish, and the cheese they use this like crazy cheese. I think their headquarters is in Chicago though, so it's kind of
influenced.
It's influenced by
like a Grammy.
But let me tell you,
it's influenced.
They do it really well.
Yeah, I hear you.
They do it really well.
I mean, I don't really have a pick on pizza, right? Philly's not known for pizza, so I can eat pizza anywhere. But for cheesesteaks, that's a little personal.
Yeah, of course.
You got to be in Philly to get a cheesesteak.
Right.
I don't care what nobody say. I don't care
what
city I'm
in. Don't come out to LA.
If I see a sign that say Philly cheesesteak, they need to take it down.
Yeah.
It can just say cheesesteak.
Uh-huh.
It shouldn't say Philly though. That's kind of, you know.
It's they don't.
That's
yeah,
bad. That's just
like you're not gonna get Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia. They're just like, okay, cheesesteak right here.
Exactly, you know. But some of my homies from the Bean from Boston, they call it a steak and cheese. They don't even call it a
steak and cheese. That sounds like the real Boston thing to say.
They say steak.
Borderline insulting.
Steak and cheese.
Yeah, it's a steak and cheese. You want to argue with me?
Instead of a cheese steak, but hey, man, that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
A steak and cheese. Man,
I want to say shout out to my man Shi, man. Today is birthday.
Shout out to Shi Money.
Shout out to Shi Money, man. Shi Money, happy G-Day, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you, brother.
Shi Money up in Albany, all them guys up there.
In Albany, man.
Yeah.
Doing this thing.
Yeah, man. Huh. Yeah, Curt, I mean, it's great to have you out here and all that.
Yeah, man.
You know, you got to see a little bit of the process today.
Yeah.
You going on the media run and everything.
Yeah, I've been on tour.
You've been on tour?
I've been on tour all day long.
Now it's topping it off with the podcast and everything.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You know, podcasting is one of those things where, like, I was telling some other people, it's a real, you know, undervalued space right now.
Yeah.
You know, where anything kind of goes. It's almost like the radio station. What do you think of it?
I think it's cool, man. I think it's good for it not to be script, right? You know, because you want to hear people what they really got to say, right? Reading off of teleprompters, etc., screens, man, that's dead. You know what I mean? I think you get a more personal feel from a podcast perspective, which is why some of the ones that are out there are you know, thriving, right? You know, because you get reels. There's no cuts, no edits, etc. Right? You kind of get the real scoop and real story. So that's what the people need. Yeah. Right? You know, people are looking for what's real, right? You know, how to get the legit bag.
Yeah. You know, definitely. You know, like, this week has been insane for me because I was trying to get some artists out here to, like, do this intro stuff and everything. And then I've, like, been going through this thing, like, at the dentist the past, like, week where, I don't know, I had a little cavity or something like that, probably because I've been eating this, like, candy I found at one of my favorite places. I actually took you there earlier. Yep. It's called Jay's Red Tacos.
Yeah, shout out to them when the Brie tacos. That's what you call them, right?
Berea, whatever. Look, let me
dip it in the juice.
Okay, let me go off on a little bit of rant right now of the best LA food.
That's your spot.
Jay's Red is, like, my favorite taco spot out here in Los Angeles.
By far, huh?
And they have these, like, queso tacos that, like, the cheese on this, like, Berea meat and how they're, like, seasoning the meat is like insane. And they also have this, like, super good candy there, and that's all I've got to say. I've just been eating this candy, had me a cavity, right? So I go to the dentist on Sunday, and you know, all the dentists out here are drop topping on the weekends. They ain't trying to work on the weekend. No specialist is trying to help you out.
No teeth on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, it's they're enjoying the breeze and all that. So, I finally found one of those little dentist offices. You know, they're everywhere around here. I'm just like, I'm in pain. I just need this solved.
Help me
out.
Yep.
I go in, and of course, Mr. Dean, sit down. I fill out all the paperwork, and the guy sitting in the next chair, you know, next to me in this dental office is just screaming.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Is just screaming, and I don't think I've ever heard somebody scream like that in the dentist's office before. And then the doctor comes over to me and says, "Don't mind that."
Why not?
He just had a bad tooth. I'm like, well, I have a bad tooth.
Exactly. So you're going to be screaming next.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm actually feeling a little bit better now. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll just take the amoxicillin or whatever.
And
I'm okay.
For real.
Yeah, I'd rather be in pain. So I kind of stuck it out for a little bit too long, and eventually, it got kind of worse this week and all that, and just been kind of going through it, and eventually went to a better dentist and everything, and just told her the situation. I was like,
dentist
look,
game is kind of rigged.
So I'm a little
experienced too, so I got you.
Yeah, I'm a little swollen, but I'm glad I got it under control at the same time, because we just today, we just, like we were talking a little bit about earlier, We just went on a huge content run today.
Yeah, it was a big day today.
Yeah, it was a really big day. We got a lot of ground covered.
Yeah.
Had kind of a mini kind of vlog made for the Legit Bag podcast.
Yeah.
Had some visuals. Trent actually got in the studio, laid down a little cool custom type of song.
Yeah.
I'm looking for maybe another artist to rap over that song or something like that.
So find somebody.
Yeah, just a little side project, if I can help out an up and coming artist is what I'm.
Yeah, you gotta tell him hit up Caleb, man. Y'all get on that track, man. The beat is
fire.
Like, the beat is crazy. The hook is crazy.
Right, yeah. And I started yelling on that thing like Puff at the beginning,
Yeah, then we got, Puff Caleb Dean, you know what I mean? So, definitely hit Caleb. You want to be on this track.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be a good one.
That's what I'm gonna throw it out there as right now. And I kind of all this just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it on the way over here, and I'm just gonna throw it out there like that, and I'm just gonna say I want a hot artist, an up and coming artist.
The best verse win.
I'm gonna send you the track.
Yeah, exactly.
I own the rights to the track because I know the game. Yeah, and I want a verse, and it's exposure for you. I'm playing it in the vlogs. I'm playing it on the intro to the podcast. You should want that type of exposure. I'm trying to help out young artists, right? Yeah. And I think there's a lot of young artists out there who, and I'm talking hip hop artists, by the way. Yeah, and if they're hip hop artists, R&B artists who are on the come up, who maybe just need that little bit extra of branding, or need that little bit of extra being in front of the, camera.
Yeah.
And the person who I select to get this verse or to lay down the rest of this track, it's like, okay, look, I'm going to pay for your studio time. You're going to come in here. We're going to shoot, you recording it.
Yep.
It's going to be cool. And you're also going to go on a little bit of a media run too. We're going to have you up here on the podcast. Hey, what'd you think? How was the process? What is your creative process?
Yeah.
And you're going to have all the content, and your fans now can come watch you.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Up and coming people, man, you got to get your stuff out there, right? The more platforms you on, the more CDs or mixtapes you got out there, the more chances you have of exposure, right?
If you're an up and coming artist, right, your content is not exclusive.
Yeah,
okay?
No, not at
Especially if you don't have the Instagram following where you can drop something and like 90,000 or 100,000 people are going to hear it. Yeah. If you don't have that, you're not exclusive. Okay, you're just not, and it's the truth. And you shouldn't be holding back anything. If you're really grinding, if you really love doing music, you'll be in the studio. You'll find a way to get in the studio. Just like being like in basketball, like you love the game, you're gonna be in the gym somehow, some way.
And that's the thing, right? If you hot, you hot.
Right.
One verse is not gonna break your catalog.
One mixtape ain't. Sometimes one song ain't.
You should be on fire every time. You know what I mean? And that's how you gonna blow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point, man. But yeah, shout out to all the up and coming rappers out there, man. Singers, rappers.
Yeah.
Hit Caleb. Get on this track. Do not miss out.
Don't miss out.
I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
If I rap, I'll be on there, but I don't. So all I could do is listen, man. Listen and promote, but get on there.
I don't rap, by the way. I just coach.
Yeah. Get on there.
I can put people in position to rap.
Yeah, hit him and get on there.
I can only do so much, though.
It's gonna be special. It's gonna be special.
It's gonna be cool. We got a cool little movement.
Yeah.
It's a unique type of movement.
Yeah.
It's got its own platform.
Yeah.
It's multiple avenues that through me that you gain exposure to.
Yeah.
Stock trading, Discords.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot. All legit.
All legit stuff.
Yeah.
That you can literally make money on.
Yeah.
Which is a cool thing to do these days.
Yeah.
By the way, I just sense now options trading is just the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Because of what's happened. It's I've been doing it 7 years.
Yeah.
I've always been in the market.
Yeah, that's true. Let me ask you though, Caleb, what motivated you to start the Legit Bag?
I love podcasting. Any way I could have got my foot in the door with podcasting.
Yep.
I looked at it and I was like, wow. Not only do I not have to go and say I have this type of experience with radio to ultimately get to radio.
Yep.
It allows me to be my own entrepreneur in a way. And I say that because one, I run my podcast like a radio station.
Okay.
And radio is something that I've always wanted to do as a kid. Like I said, like on some other podcasts before, I understand I can't rap. You know, like I understand
it too.
Yeah, you know. Look, I can't really make beats like that. I have a good ear for everything, but like I've always liked and the process of artist or like brokering artists in a way. Like going on a media run and them, you know, having a cool hip hop conversation at the radio station. That's what's inspired me to start something like this, to the fact that I don't have to answer to no boss to say, you have to run a radio station this way. We have to have these type of people up here. You have to talk a certain type of way, or you have to portray this type of image. That's what really inspired me to do all this. And it's growing at a very, very vast level too. Like people just don't know.
That's positive though. That's real positive.
The analytics behind this podcast, I mean, I haven't posted them yet, but I had like an Instagram post, right? And there's some people that are saying, hey, yeah, I listen to your podcast. I watch what you post on Instagram. I've had like 35,000 views on one video that I posted. And it wasn't even 4 days out. It's like it works.
That's
okay.
Good,
and the podcast isn't hard to find. Like I said before, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch it on YouTube. It's on all those other podcasting sites that people maybe not be aware of right now. That's in this undervalued space, these undervalued companies, okay? The way I invest in companies, right, and I'm talking about the market, by the way, is I'm an options trader that looks at mid to small caps, right? And I look at their potential and where they can possibly be and catalysts that are attached to them. If you have a catalyst that's attached to your podcast, right, meaning somebody or a guest or something like that makes an appearance, it blows up. It blows up. And it's all social media driven these days. So I'm giving away too much free game right now, by the way.
Man, but this is about the legit bag, man. So you speaking and you helping the people, man.
Yeah, of course. So, you know.
The people need that. The people need that knowledge, man. That's the good part about, you know, the legit bag, man. You gotta spread that knowledge, the you know, because there's multiple ways to get that bag.
Right, of course there is.
And my bag might be not good enough for you. Your bag might not.
Everybody's
be good.
Bag's good enough for me, by the way.
Well, I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, man, you got, you know, that's why it's needed, man. It's needed. That knowledge is needed, man. A lot of people don't realize to spread that, you know, to the people. Because, you know, they need it.
And that's what I look at too, in business. I love business. Business is a real passion of mine. I might have my informal times or stuff like that, but I'm really passionate about business. And one thing I respect about business is the fact that I feel like everybody in the room brings something to the table. No matter what your bag, you know, may be, or no matter what weight your opinion carries, you might have that one opinion that is earth-shattering, that makes everybody in the room view something a different way.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's one tactic that I use in business, where I want to know everybody's, you know, opinion on stuff. I want you to be honest with me about if you think something's whack, then just, you know, kind of tell me like, hey, like, I think your idea is whack, or you shouldn't be doing that, and here's why. I've got my mind up that, you know, one thing that I do is something great. I put a bag behind it. I put some money behind it. You know what I mean? I think it's great. It might not be right all the time. You know? And I feel like that also kind of alludes to, you know, back to your main question, is like the legit bag. Once you get a lot of creative minds in the same room, you get a product.
Yeah, you could do something special.
Yeah, because the end result, what people see, they don't see the grind behind podcasting.
That's true.
They see the end result and what they can actually see.
Yeah.
The analytics behind it, the downloads we've been getting, the 5-star ratings, how it's accessible.
Yeah.
That's what
and that's anything of success, right? Yeah. Not even just a legit bag, but anything that has turned successful, it was a process to get it there.
Of course.
A lot of people don't realize that. They look at the end result, as you said. They say, damn.
Some of these like Instagram videos I've been like really puzzled with lately. And I've just like really seen kind of like how some of them like grow at different levels.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to me because some of them take off right away.
Yeah.
And will go and they'll grab like, 30,000 views or 20,000 views in a matter of like, 24 to 48 hours.
Yep.
But then some of them, I kind of feel like a lot of people kind of go back to and kind of watch and like, oh, okay. It's kind of a cool process to see.
The trends.
Yeah. It's like the trends and how everything kind of like revolves right now. We're in a real interesting time.
Yeah.
I think in 10 years, we look back and say, wow, it was really revolutionary.
Yeah.
So.
That's true, man.
Yeah. So we're a level playing field, especially with podcasting, because I can get up here and, if
talk that talk.
Yeah. If I don't, I'm not that type of guy, but if I dislike somebody or something like that, I mean, I have no problem, saying anything to anybody's face, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if I say something up here, just know that it's not anything that I wouldn't say to your face.
Legit bag.
It's legit. It's a legit way of thinking too.
That's a fact.
Legit way of going about your business.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy podcasting. That's part of the reason why. I also think it's an awesome way to document special people in your life. Yeah.
Give them their flowers while they're here, right?
Right. It's hard to, if you're not like a YouTuber, right? I feel like there's certain people for YouTube. Like YouTubers are kind of in their own lane.
Yeah.
It's like almost you're born a YouTuber these days. Like you got that face for being on YouTube. But it's almost like YouTubers, you have to have a certain type of process for that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard.
That's a grind too, though.
Yeah. I've had some videos on YouTube that have been put out. And what's actually funny about YouTube is what a lot of people don't know is I was one of those first to YouTube, and you can go back and see one of my accounts. It was like, I think 2006, and do your YouTube history. And YouTube was at its infant stages at the time. And at the time, nobody was putting their basketball clips on YouTube. Okay. So it was kind of like a no-brainer to me. Everybody was sending their DVDs to coaches. Yeah. So I saw a lane when I played basketball on YouTube. I was like, well, I had all these games. Yeah. I have film on myself. Yeah. Did you get the DVDs yet? Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll watch it.
Click the link.
Just click this link right here. I just emailed you.
Exactly.
Watch me on YouTube. And it was kind of funny at first, the feedback I got from coaches. They kind of were laughing about it at first. I felt like, yeah, we saw you on YouTube. I was like, good, you saw me. But that eventually led to me getting the like JUCO deal back down in Texas, me meeting HODGE. Him kind of saying, okay, we'll send some people his way to check him out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I wanted. Just come check it out. Come check me out at the end of the day.
But that's the thing, right? It was given to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's big. That's big in all aspects.
One thing that I really, really like, and it ties into business, it ties into podcasting, it ties into being an entrepreneur, is I love stuff that I call it get it out the trunk. Okay. And getting out the trunk alludes to those guys that used to sell mixtapes out the trunk. I like stuff that like businesses that like I can kind of promote and kind of can get it out the trunk. I get legit bag kind of out the trunk in a way. I go ahead and I can like make some hoodies up, in a way it has an organic kind of feel to it. Yeah. Because you can say, hey, look at that, big tall guy with that stupid hoodie on right there. But what does it say on it? Oh, it's a podcast and you read it. Yep. Okay.
That's all you need.
And let me just see what this guy has to say.
Exactly.
That's organic marketing right there. And that's getting it out the trunk.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I feel like people are shying away from, but it's kind of transitioned into like social media in a way.
I was going to say that.
You can get it out the trunk in social media still. Yeah. But I still like that grind, that feel to being out there interacting with people, posting up flyers and stuff like that.
Yeah, people don't do that no more.
Yeah, that's the stuff that people don't do. That's what the ones that are hungry and that are willing to do with their music careers and all that. Yep. I saw one guy on the street the other day. I was walking by on Hollywood Boulevard. And he was on the street rapping. I was like, he kind of got a tight little flow. he's on the street rapping. I don't know. He could have been a bum or something like that. Who knows?
Yep.
But I mean, I thought it was tight. I was like, kind of go lay a track down.
People take a different process these days. It's it's the social media kind of watered it down to a certain degree, right? Because everybody think everything can just be, it'll just go.
Yeah.
And they seen that X, Y, and Z did it this way, so
right.
I'm gonna try it and it's gonna go. But that don't you say get out the try. I mean, people used to pull up in Philly. I mean, that was a thing back when I was in high school, middle school. People used to pull up and sell you CDs,
right?
3 for $10, out they bag.
I mean, here's the thing too.
That's done now. There's no such thing.
That's getting it out the trunk.
But there's no such thing as a CD anymore.
No, there's not.
But that was a different kind of grind.
Let alone a CD player. By the way, we getting old.
Yeah. CD player.
I don't know.
Done.
Like last time I seen a CD player in a car.
Yeah, that's done. Yeah, in a car, that's done. But that's the thing. That's I mean, the times have changed, and a lot of times people have become microwaves,
right,
and not the slow cooker, right?
Yeah,
you put that thing in the microwave, 3 minutes, it's done. You put something in the oven, it's gonna take you some hours to cook.
Yeah,
it's a difference. It's definitely a difference, and there's no wrong way to do it. But it's your way to do it. That's what you got to pick.
There's definitely no wrong way, I feel like, when it comes to social media, but I think you have to draw the line between stuff that is and isn't official.
Yeah.
Like, for example, and I not necessarily the music game, because I mean, there's a lot of avenues to that, where somebody starting off might be talented, but just might not know how to put out content.
Yeah.
But I look at it from a basketball standpoint now. I kind of feel like, kids who are putting out highlights on there, I feel like their highlights are a little bit misleading at times.
Yeah, I mean, all highlights are misleading.
Like, you can look really, really good on some highlights.
For sure. I think that's why probably a lot of coaches, a lot of my buddies that's coaching, they don't watch highlights. Because,
right.
I mean, I can make myself look like Ray Allen.
Right. You're shooting it with a
highlight
cool
tape. Yeah.
like a beat, but like there's a cool little beat to it, and you're dunking to a trap beat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I wish I had that when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, you're only gonna put the special moments on there,
right?
So,
but I feel like there's a lot of special moments that might not be so special moments. They might be special moments that have been gathered over like, a year and a half, and it's not like that game. It's like, wow, you would look at some of these guys' highlights and you'd be like, wow, he went for 50 and he's out there, dunking on people like LeBron, 2 and 3 guys. It happened in the same game. It's he ain't really like that though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that the highlight thing is it's probably watered down as well. I mean, of course, the coaches that I talk to that's still out here doing their thing. Shout out to all of them, but highlights ain't the way to go no more. Because,
right.
I don't want to see you dunk 100 times with nobody sticking you.
That was like the thing. Like
don't do nothing for me.
When we were playing, was like I felt like those guys. Coaches were like recruiting the guys who could just dunk the hardest.
Yeah, at one point. I mean, probably depending on where you were. That was the point. Well, I don't know. So I'll tell you. So from a Philly standpoint, a lot of coaches come in and they recruit not for dunkers, for toughness.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Just because somebody gonna get out there and they gonna work and they gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And they ain't gonna care who they playing against. That's just kind of a Philly mentality. So I think it could vary, just like a New York,
Yeah.
Anytime I used to think about New York, you would think about a point guard. You like, shit, New York got all the point guards.
Right.
Everywhere we go, you play, whether it's JUCO, D1,
I want a tough point guard. I want to go to New York.
Exactly. I'm gonna go to New York. I'm gonna grab me a point. I may go to Philly, get me the 2, and then go down south and get me a big man.
Right.
There's my team.
Or what they do these days? They just go overseas. There's some Serbian that's 7 feet.
They're doing that now. They're doing that. Yeah.
That's in the 8th grade. Who looks good?
Yeah. Who may be 6'7" in the 8th grade too. So, I mean, it's a different game, right? We were talking about that the other day about the 3s versus the 2s.
Right.
I would have loved this game. I could just go out there and shoot 15 threes a game. Come on.
There's 2 things I have that I bring up. I want to go back to what you said and what you mentioned about toughness.
Yeah.
One thing, and a coach mentioned this to me that made a lot of sense. He said the toughest guys that I know aren't the ones that on the court are doing a whole lot of talking. Of course, you talk a little bit. That's part of the game. But they're the ones that are really strong with the ball. And once they make that pivot to the hoop or whatever strong move, they're going up into your face.
Yeah.
Okay.
And avoiding that contact.
They're not avoiding any contact, and they're pounding you for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the real tough guys out here.
That's true.
All these kids these days want this foul and
it's kind
doing all the yelling and everything.
I mean, you got to. We have to understand the game is a tad softer now, but
man, come on, man.
That's for ratings.
Come on.
That's not necessarily what we came up with.
Yeah. And it was getting that way, I felt like, when we played. There was I don't know.
But at the same time, I will tell you, some of my old heads will tell me that I was soft, that my era was soft. So I guess every couple years, it's gonna be something.
Yeah.
We just the old heads now. That's all. I think that's what
I say we becoming OGs.
Yeah, we are the old heads now. I ain't even know becoming shit. This is it.
One other thing I wanted to bring up to you was this, and while we're on that basketball subject and toughness and everything, I've always felt like it's really interesting with talent, and we brought up the New York point guards that were tough.
Yep.
When it comes to like talent, I feel like the cities kind of represent those type of players in a way. Like we were talking about the big men from Serbia. I want to take it back to the players from Michigan. I just feel like we're just like we get a good big man coming out of there. We get a lot of 3 men coming out of there who are really good.
Okay.
But I feel like in Michigan, those type of guys are like legitimate tough guys who get it done, who do everything really well.
I can't really speak to that.
I can.
I bet you can.
Okay, I feel like that's the type of player you get out of those.
That's your staple.
Yeah,
that's your stamp on me.
I mean, you look at a program like Michigan State, by the way.
Yeah, they breed some good players.
They're tough guys. They make it to the Final Four every year. I mean, darn near every other year they make it to the Final Four, Sweet 16.
Except for this one,
a bad year is when you don't make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, Michigan State is always tough. I mean, always.
That's Michigan mentality right there.
Yeah,
tough guys who get it done.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Tough guys who can get it done.
Yeah.
Overall, who ain't afraid to get on the road and get it.
And get dirty.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, but yeah, man. Well, hey, Curt. We got the last couple minutes on the show right now.
Yeah, man.
Anything else that anybody else you want to shout out real quick?
No, just shout out to everybody, man. Everybody that's gonna watch this, man. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
Make sure, again, as I said, we get them submissions for the track, man. That's gonna be special. You don't
right.
want to miss out. And watch, watch every time the legit bag is something drop. You watch, you because it's always going to be knowledge. It's always going to be positivity.
100%.
It's always going to be something about trying to get the bag. That's the goal.
People getting it. People who aren't afraid to share knowledge.
Exactly, because that's what it's about.
There's a ton of people that are going to be on here. I'm talking like, successful stock traders.
Yeah.
People that are part of my stock trading platform that I built. Having some of those guys on here. Yeah, who I've seen their success, I've seen it unfold, and it's like, wow, more entertainers, athletes. more. There's going to be athletes who fall through, especially with stuff opening up now.
Yeah,
I know people in the league, and people just don't know. Yeah. Okay, like we just been around. It's just like you just know people. It's like they're going to be stopping through when the Lakers play whoever from out of town.
Exactly.
There's going to be more hip hop artists, who come through.
Yeah,
there's going to be people behind the scenes that can drop a lot of gem on the hip hop game. This podcast, like we were talking a little bit about, earlier, is really for the culture at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's not just hip hop culture, it's for the culture in general. And it's not necessarily like a money culture or anything like that, because if you're trying to get it, it's for you.
Yeah.
If you have some ideas, like I'm an easily accessible type of person.
Yeah.
Through social media, I'm not afraid to pick up the phone if you want to say, hey, call me. Like, look, I'm not afraid to do that.
Yeah, pitch some ideas, man.
Like I said,
you never know what could happen for you, man.
Yeah.
You never know what may be your break, what may be your lane.
And the thing is just like, like I said before, when it comes to business, I respect everybody's opinion. Yep. Everybody brings something special to the table with me. you know, kind of like Fab said, find what you bring to the table, then pull up a chair.
Yeah.
You know? That was a meaningful line that he said.
Yeah, shout out to Fab, man.
For real. I shouted out Fab a million times. I've hit Fab up. I said, yo, Fab. I literally have. I was like, yo, I'm a huge fan. Like, I got this podcast. Like, yo, and I'm just paying homage at the end of the day.
As you should. As you should.
I'm on record saying Jada's top 5.
Yeah.
I'm on record saying Fab's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm on record saying 50 had one of the most dominant albums ever.
Yeah, get rich.
And it's paying homage. It's paying homage.
As you should.
You know? But paying homage is what we've done today.
Yes, sir.
We talked about our media run. Curt, you've got that real LA feel. You've got the whole thing. Now
I was Hollywood today, man. I did my Hollywood.
Curt has, by the way, been on this media run today, and he's like scheduled it out perfectly.
Yep.
And now, first thing in the morning, he's on his way back.
I'm out.
With a flight back to Austin.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
we're going to get him to the airport. And, hey, this is a Legit Bag podcast. Curt, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the time we spend together.
Yes, sir.
It's very meaningful. And like I said before, thank you more than anything for coming here. Thank you for all you've done for me. You know, provide an opportunity for me.
That's
for
what
real.
It's about. Opportunity.
And Curt is just that type of guy. You know, kind of like Wallo and Gillie, so to say. You know, he's that type of guy where he's put a lot of people on.
Yeah.
And he's looked out, and he's been Curt is the definition of somebody who pays it forward, for real.
I appreciate it.
So that's one thing I can say, man.
The Legit Bag.
Let's go.